Hey, in this video, I will share why entrepreneurship is more than just a hobby for me. Let me ask you something. Are you one of those people who, whatever you do, somehow end up saving others? It doesn't matter whether it's your profession, a hobby, mentoring, teaching, fixing things, you just naturally orient yourself toward being useful. Some people do it consciously, others don't even realize they are doing it. I realized quite late that I'm one of those people. For some people, service is a role. For others, it is a reflex. For people like that, entrepreneurship isn't really a career choice. It's not even a business decision. It's a form of expression. Some people express themselves through art, some through writing, some through leadership. Entrepreneurship is how I express, how I think, how I solve problems, and how I contribute. It's not about money first. It's not about titles. It's about building something that responds to a real need. What started bothering me wasn't that I lacked opportunities. It was that my time, skills, and curiosity were being used safely. Oh yes, it was being used safely. Productively, oh yes, but not fully. There was no real feedback loop, no consequences beyond comfort. And if you are wired a certain way, comfort becomes a problem. Entrepreneurship forces responsibility. If something doesn't work, there is no syllabus to blame, no manager to escalate to, no system to hide behind. It's just you, your decision, and the outcome. That's not for everyone, but for some people, it's the only environment where they feel fully engaged. And that's why I didn't start entrepreneurship because I had a brilliant idea. I started because something felt off. I had time, I had skill that I've developed over the years in many jobs, and I had curiosity, and none of them were being fully tested. So this video isn't about success, motivation, or chasing freedom. It's about decisions made without certainty and what those decisions taught me. Entrepreneurship for me became a way to stop thinking in theory and start testing reality. That's why I went on to launch products being sold on Amazon. Like most people, my first instinct was to learn before acting. So I read extensively. I read books. For example, I read The E-Myth Revisited that gave me language for systems and why most small businesses fail. The Millionaire Fast Lane challenged how I thought about time, leverage, and scale. The Richest Man in Babylon stripped money down to principles that were almost uncomfortable in their simplicity. Thou Shalt Prosper reframe wealth in a moral and cultural context. And if you're a French speaker, La Chèvre de ma mère, that one eat differently, especially coming from a francophone perspective. I also consume countless audiobooks. Oh yes, I love them. Sometimes I'll buy a book, read them alongside the audiobook. But here's the important part. None of those books gave me answers. They gave me language for problems I was already struggling with. Action is what tested whether any of it was true. At some point, reading wasn't enough, so I made another decision. I paid for education. I thought I would invest money, and I spent thousands on courses. Not because I believed they held secrets, but because I needed structure. I needed exposure and pressure. And here's something people don't say enough. Information doesn't remove uncertainty. It just makes your ignorance more precise. The courses, a lot of them helped me, but they didn't remove risk. In fact, I took more risk. They didn't make decision easier. They just made avoiding decision harder. That's when I realized learning only works when something is at stake. And for me, the real shift didn't happen with a book or a course. It happened the moment I committed real resources. Money left my bank account. Time became non-negotiable expectations were set with other people. There was no undo button. That's when entrepreneurship stopped being interesting and started being serious. Every book I read suddenly made sense, but only after the risk became real. And one of the biggest decisions I made was working with partners in Southeast Asia. There's different time zones, different cultures, different assumptions, and about pace, about communication and trust. And you will quickly learn that entrepreneurship isn't about ideas, it's more about people. You can't hide behind theory when someone else is waiting for your decision. That experience taught me about leadership, negotiation, and accountability than any course could ever. And what did I expect? I expected speed, clear progress, obvious wins. What actually happened was slower but deeper. Again, better judgment, stronger decision making, and a much clearer understanding of how I respond to uncertainty. Some outcomes were financial, others were internal, but far more long-term. Entrepreneurship didn't give me certainty. It gave me confidence in making decisions without that certainty. I continue not because it is glamorous and not because it is easy. I continue because it forces growth, it exposes weaknesses, and it rewards responsibility over intention. So entrepreneurship for me isn't an identity, it is a practice. I just love it. I like doing things. If any of this resonates, I leave you with one question. What decision are you postponing? Not because you can't do it, but because you don't feel ready. And that hesitation usually points exactly where the work is. If you're comfortable sharing, put in the comment. If this kind of thinking matters to you, stay connected. Thank you.